Dan Lutz, and I'm here with
Tank.
And Tank is back, and we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminati, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own stupid, selfish, crazy reasons. How's it going,
Yes.
Tank? Glad to have you back.
Man, things are great. It's been a really exciting week. For everybody, just real quick, I just want to say the lawfulamerica.com is up. There was some major issues we had that they erased and reconfigured all of this data we had and crashed us. So I worked straight through the night. I've been up for about 48 hours straight. But I'm pretty charged up still, because I've been eating lots of oranges. So, but basically, so that set us back. So we're just going to reset the clock, and we'll continue voting. We'll start a new clock once we finish this. So we built everything. Everything's done. It was a matter of, having the final edits done and stuff like that.
What about those?
I did all this work.
What about those that were already registered? Do you have to re-register, or you're still registered?
No. You guys are all. Everybody who registered is fine. They didn't mess with the registry. What they did was basically. So it's going to be a unique experience, right? Because it's good. We're going to do other cases like this too, but basically we took the whole statements, right? Everything on it is all the statement about the affidavit that I wrote and explaining all the different aspects of the Constitution that are in violation of, and what the Constitution actually says about our rights, right? And why we are authorized to claim those rights back, and how we're doing it, right? So it kind of lays that out. And then the next part is the exhibits, right? So basically, every section of exhibits that goes to prove a point has its own little sub web page, right? So they basically took all those web pages from me and crashed them, and so they were all saved and up and running. And then I went back to check at 9:30 just to finish off any last minute details, and they were all gone. And then I went through the edit, and I was like, wait, why is this repeating? So some stuff is repeating. And it could have been a glitch, but I'm a conspiracy theorist, at heart. So I'm pretty sure it was the man trying to keep me down. So.
Okay.
So there's that.
I just logged into my account just so that it's working. I'm showing it on screen as well.
It'll be up and rocking. Well, we should have the vote. I expect I will have the vote by morning. I think, assuming that I don't literally, smash my head on the keyboard tonight. But I think we should have it up and running because I got everything built, and it's just a matter of making sure the language is just right. I want to make sure that everybody is clear and comfortable, and my goal is to have it empower people. And I'll tell you something, we've got them hemmed up against the wall. They're beat. I'm so excited about this. This is going to open the door for everyone to take their power back as a governing body of the people, right? Because our government draws its power from the governed. And they are in violation of their contracts by allowing these things to go on. They are allowing the United Nations to assert its authority over the people and the government. And guess what? They can't, because that is a power the government doesn't have the authority to give them. So when the people, take their power back and inform them of this, they have no option. Once we go through the right channels, right, and get it published and put in the right places, it actually becomes entered in as law. Then every lawsuit for the vaccines or any of the other lawsuits, they can actually pull this information. That's why we did it so thoroughly. And it's going to be it's a little choppy on the site right now because of some of the overlapping that happened, but the actual content and the substance of it is solid. And luckily, I have professional authors and editors who are actually going through it for me. I'm very fortunate to have those people in my organization. So that's what that is, guys.
Well done.
Stay tuned. I will send out a message to everybody in the Guardian Camelot, and I'm going to need a lot of help with people out there. Anybody out there who has friends who want to get involved, I got reached out to by a lovely group of nurses up in North Dakota, I think, and I am going to connect with them. I've just been very busy, so I know a bunch of people sent me emails, and I haven't responded, and I apologize. I've just been so busy that I just haven't had a chance, but I will respond. And, we'll be banging that stuff out. We are officially, ending any new trusts, that with Yokohama Legal. And so everybody who has ordered a trust, your trust is already built. And those things will be going out, over the next few weeks as we double check and triple check everything because, we're already getting a lot of attention for a lot of stuff. So we just want to make sure that we don't make any mistakes. And what else is there? Okay, so there's that. Now, Kim update. Anybody who listened to Thomas last night, he said that the Crown, the Federal Reserve, and the United Nations are now officially done. They're no longer have any power or authority anywhere. I have no idea what that means. I haven't talked to Kim about it. But I think that's something that you're actually seeing the symptoms of all over the place. You have this violent reaction as they're trying to hold on. You're seeing it in politics everywhere. So, whenever something like that is stated, it always comes out. And Kim did send me an article today about China, because some of the issues that China they're getting aid, right? And they're not in the category where they should be getting aid from the World Bank. And on top of that, the World Bank doesn't have any money. So what are they really getting? But whenever Kim points out an article, I'll actually post that so you guys can look at it and you can come to your own conclusions. But I want to let you guys know that. And Kim did send me this letter yesterday, but the Speak project went down. So we weren't able to post it. So I'm going to read it to everybody real quick. It's through Kim. It says, who is the Alliance? The Alliance, spoken about taking out the Cabal, are two opponents in the higher stakes game of chess. The Alliance is the House of the Black Sun, modeled after Hitler's alliance, which was their creation. Thule Society, Nazi Party, etc. Were their creation. They are attempting a hostile takeover for free. A hostile takeover for free of the banking system using their arms and legs than the military and the agencies worldwide. These same people also run the Order of Assassins, which is mostly called the Islamic Caliphites, where Obama hails from. Both Rothschild and the Black Sun consider each other an enemy. However, on this level, they are, quote, chosen opponents. In other words, Marduk set them up, right? Or days old for Marduk. Of days old for Marduk. Neither one will achieve their objective as they were never meant to. Sorry, my horrible reading. Marduk's objective was to get them to fight against each other to keep planetary martial law and the ownership of souls to the Destroyer, a much more lethal force than the Draco ever were. Now, the Destroyer is the one that was just taken out recently. The only way to win the game...
Sorry. You go ahead. You finish, and I'll ask the questions.
Okay. The only way to win the game is not to play. Now, Kim always says that. So is the, quote, Alliance fighting the Cabal? No. They are fighting against Rothschilds to install the Black Sun Empire. They, too, have a banking arm called, quote, the Black Bankers, who have inserted themselves everywhere and work against the Rothschild. Both are evil. The depopulation plan is run by the Black Sun, although Rothschild also has one. Two covens battling for world domination. So there's that. So I guess Kim felt the need to clarify those things.
Yeah, that helps a lot because I was trying to put the pieces together, and I was thinking that the Nazis were the opposite side of the rising sun. I mean the Black Sun. Sorry.
They are. You'd be right.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, wait, maybe I misread it.
No, the way you just read it, it was like the Nazis are part of that's part of the Black Sun. See,
right.
I put the
Yeah. So you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So anyway, so that helps clarify because so then the Rothschilds are just the Rothschilds. So they don't have a are they're not the Black Dragons then? Are they? What are how do you see against the?
What? There's the Dragon families. I don't think the Order of the Black Sun is involved in the RV. So the Dragon families I think are the other side.
So the RV is with the Dragon family side, and then the Black Sun is with the Nazis.
They were with the Destroyer, right? The Nazis.
And what is the Destroyer? What is or who is or what was the Destroyer?
Man, I never even heard of that until Thomas said something about it.
Yeah,
but I guess it was some evil entity.
So if you remember, I believe I might be wrong, but the Fifth Element movie, was it not that Black Sun thing coming at the Earth? Was it not called the Destroyer?
It's so funny. I thought the same thing, right? Or like the thing that the Silver Surfer is attached to, right?
Yeah.
He's known as the Devourer of Worlds or something like that, right?
Brainiac.
Brainiac. That was called.
I think that's who the Silver Surfer was attached to. It's the engulfment of because it's this huge, all-encompassing cloud, right? That would grab cities as ornaments, right? And but that was,
right.
But the Silver Surfer was the one that scouted out to find the worlds.
Right.
So,
and then in the Fantastic Four movie, he stood up to him.
Isn't it weird that we can in our broadcast we can like float between the Marvel comics or DC comics and right into the real life comics of the Black Sun and the Rothschilds and the Dragon families and the Chinese elders.
I think that movie is it Unbreakable, right? With Bruce Willis, M. Night Shyamalan, and Samuel Jackson.
Yes.
Like he talks about the comic books as being like modern day hieroglyphics, right? They're telling stories, you know, exaggerated, hyperbolic stories of things that are real. And I don't even know if they're hyperbolic. I think they're real.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fully convinced like the Green Lantern is a real group of like, you know, galaxy defenders that's out there that uses will to green light of will. You know, things like this. I believe that these things have happened or some version of them.
Well, it's kind of like the evolution of what I was just kind of discussing with you with the Kringle Society and what I'm doing on this new path forward, and really modeling you know a governing structure that you know has kind of sheriffs and knights, you know, privy council. You know, so it's kind of a kingdom type structure with like democracy or I don't know, maybe it's a republic. I don't know. Can there be?
Yeah, you know, I got the idea to do this from you actually, because I mean, the first time we ever talked, Dan told me about you know, creating a society, right? Mm-hmm. So versus you know an association, actually creating your own society. It was like this kind of subculture that exists, right? But official. Yeah.
Well, I like so, I mean, there's the well-known society, Skull and Bones, on the dark side, right? And then you have the Masons, right? Freemasons. Then you have the Red Cross. These are all societies. They stand outside of governing structures. They often will end up working within or using governing structures. Right, but they are not tied to a land in particular, right? They're tied to an ideology, you know, you might say.
Yeah, why isn't there any good societies like that?
I think Go Camelot is a.
I do too. Like, yeah, exactly. The Guardian of Camelot is going to be one of the first ones. We're going to do the exact opposite, though. Actually, we're going to make everything completely transparent. So instead of being a secret society, we're going to be a transparent society.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize till recently that the Red Cross, you know, that international organization that my grandmother was working for, you know, and you know, she was going to, I think she ran the East Coast of the U.S. for the Red Cross at one point. But you know, I always thought it was a good organization, collects blood for the, you know, for the benefit of people. It's, you know, comes in with rescue operations. I didn't realize it was started by Rothschilds. You know, that's a new.
The Rothschilds are pretty crafty devils, aren't they? I mean, they started pretty much everything. It seems like.
Well, they had all the money, right? So that's the name of the game here, right?
Right.
He who
like I'm sure there was good people who originally were like, look, we need to help people get blood out there because they're losing blood more. And the Rothschilds were like, we have an idea. They stepped in and, like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, right?
Yes. Yeah. They have a crafty idea. Let's do this. Right. You know, it's kind of, I do see a kind of a spiritual evolution that is kind of apparent to me right now. That's by looking backwards as a comparison to, like, I like to go back to the American industrialists, right? And the bankers, you know, from the Rothschilds and the banking industry. These stood outside of the monarchies, right? They came into power and morphed into power. Though. And I'm 100% convinced that they thought that they're going to do good deeds, right? That they're doing good things and they're anointed by God. Otherwise, why would they have all of this wealth? Right? So that from that standpoint, you know, they may have had some good, you know, beginnings, but I think the way that they keep power, you know, has corrupted them, right? And so absolute power corrupting absolutely, you know, I don't know if that's 100%, a universal truth. It may be just something that's been obviously the case. uh, that this has been going on, and but I see that now there is a higher, spiritual feeling about doing the right thing. Even the kids that are going through the universities and everything and are worried about global warming, the Earth's going to blow up in 10 years. They have good intentions, right? And they're really upset at the other side enough to lift their arms up in protest, right? And do all sorts of things because they want the right thing to be done. They're just confused about what that is because they've been fed a lot of garbage. So,
well, it's tough. It's a very small group that is holding on, with everything they have. I mean, like the fact that they are bringing impeachment charges against President Trump is so ridiculous. No one can verify anything, any kind of wrongdoing. I mean, it's such a waste of time that the very next thing that we're going to bring indictments against them. And I'll tell you personally, I feel like this is the way it's supposed to be. This is, by the way, in the Constitution, what's supposed to happen when the government, doesn't act right. Now you have all these different groups that are like Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and the Republicans. They're really, they're going to war. I don't know how anybody can even look at this still. I was watching an interview on Fox today, of all places. I thought Fox was pretty, conservative, I guess, but I mean logical. It's not even conservative. I care less about the political party.
Right.
I mean, just logical. Like, what are you, stupid? I mean, how could anyone look at? They keep calling the alleged crimes of Joe Biden. What do you mean alleged crimes? He's bragging about it publicly. It's recorded. Everybody saw it. If that's okay, how could you possibly say that President Trump, with a contract in place, with a conversation that he had, with nobody saying he did anything wrong, that he shouldn't be impeached, how could you possibly bring impeachment charges against him? For what? But what are you accusing him of? Kicking your ass? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think you're correct. It's like it's more about logic or just seeing the truth right in front of you and basically coming up with lies to overcome the other side, just to spin a story a different direction. That's what we're completely done with, right? I watched recently, the last couple months, I've been watching a comedian guy called Jimmy Dore. I don't know if you ever caught any of his videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're very liberal side, but he is smart, right? And he's not repeating the garbage, right? And he's saying who should be in first place, and this is not Biden and not Kamala Harris and not any of the other ones, because these people are doing stupid things, right? They're saying things that were wrong and they're corrupt. He's saying that these people are corrupt, but then he says, well, who should be in there is Bernie and Tulsi, right? That should be the who it is that they're going to put up for the Democrat Party. And I get it. I mean, I think Tulsi is great. I don't think the communist Bernie, but at least the truth is that that's where their base is, right? It's not the manipulated Kamala Harris, who great thing she dropped out. I was tired of seeing her. But we really just need an American party, one party, or not even parties, just say Americans, and you vote for the people, right? And what they do, what their actions are, not what they say,
right,
and not the platform and all this kind of stuff. Who are the people? What have they done? What have they been doing in their past, right? And look at them and forget about all these hot button issues that they try and use to get people just to basically throw all reason out the window.
Well, this is why I really think that lawful America is such a big thing, and it seems like what are you going to do, right? But when you think about it, the people have got to come together. Now, the vaccines are just a great issue to come together around, because everyone at this point is kind of like, wait a minute, you're doing what? Under whose authority? But nobody even thinks to ask these questions. All they think to do is to throw themselves against the same argument, right? So if you keep arguing about a contract because you think you're bound by it, and then you're always going to lose, because according to the contract, you're bound. Like, you have to do this. But when you realize, well, no, you don't have the authority to do that. You don't have that authority. That is the statement of people around the world that they need to make. Everyone needs to realize that you have natural rights, that your connection to God or the source or the universe, whatever, is direct, right? And there are certain unalienable rights all of us are born with, that no man can take from you. That makes all the difference in the world, But until people are gathered together and forced behind one issue, we'll never stand up for anything, because we don't know we can. And that's what I'm determined to get people to realize. No, we do not have to take this. We do not have to accept it. We do not have to bow down. We do not have to give up. We do not have to back ourselves into a corner under the authority of someone that we give power, right? It's the same kind of thing they're trying to teach people with, like, kids, to, basically let your kids run the house, right? It's like, no, they live in your house.
Right. There's so much craziness that they try and put on the people to reorientate their minds, like what are our children, right? And how can the state come in and take the children, right? Because they say the parents are doing something bad. Oh, you've had parking tickets. You don't deserve children. You can't raise children. You're a bad parent, but you have parking tickets. They can come up with anything, right? And I know I'm using a ridiculous example, but it was supposed to be basically point out that how things were ridiculously stated, 30 years ago. Oh, it would never be 100 years ago. I'll give one. It's like, income tax is volunteer and it's only on corporations. Well, it still is, but does anyone really think that way? I mean, the logistics or the legalities of it is that it is that income tax is a volunteer system, and that it is for the corporations. Well, they just made everyone into a corporation and made everyone, think that they have to pay, right? So the things that are ridiculous or out of bounds, they basically still bring into. So, okay, sex education in school. I mean, when I was going through junior high and high school, the first bringing about sex ed and the controversy around it, as a kid, I'm saying, yeah, tell me about it, right?
Right.
So yeah, I want to know more. It's like, oh, you're going to give me condoms? Well, thank you. Even demonstrations on how to use them with bananas, right? So,
right.
So, but that's all. It's just some simple. But now it's about teaching children about pedo this and pedo that being a normal thing, right? And here's other sex acts that are normal to, well, starting with high school kids, then bring it down into now elementary school, into kindergarten. It's not ridiculous. It's their path, right? If it shouldn't be done, it shouldn't be done, right? It's not up. It's for the parents to explain these things, to have the talk, right? The birds and the bees. I never understood the birds and the bees really, too much. How does pollen relate? So anyway, anyway, we do see that they do ridiculous things. I think I was talking about being one party. Forget the parties. We just need to act as Americans and basically vote on the people and what they can do in their life. I mean, I'm all for billionaires, who successfully made it legitimately, right, without stealing it, right, and having them run a country as a business. It's set up as a business anyway, and to be successful at it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for superpowers,
Yeah.
when they're not, created by drugs.
Right.
But, I don't know many billionaires that are go out that path, really. So.
Yeah, it's like, or to have Trump is a unique individual in this world, and I was literally just watching a video someone sent it. Carol, thank you, I think is who sent it. It's a Project Looking Glass. What is the name of it? Let me just read it. Here. Through the Looking Glass and Beyond. So where we go one, we go all. Spelled out where. Spelled out we. Spell out go. Spell number one. Spell out we. Spell out go. Spell out all. That's the channel. But it talks about John Trump and how he got all of Tesla's stuff, and they talk about how they actually had developed a teleporter, and time travel devices, and they put it all together on where the other the Project Pegasus inside the government, about how it was used to develop this, other projects on how they would come up with this Project Looking Glass. The interesting thing about the three parts of the Project Looking Glass, there's three elements. They're all held. For some reason, they couldn't use it from the 70s until now, until 2016, 2017. They couldn't really use it because of the place that we were within the galaxy, right? We were crossing the accretional disk or something like that. While we're crossing it, it's too chaotic, and so you can't rely upon it. Okay, I'll be quiet.
No, sorry, my son.
Yeah. So this three pieces are kept by the EU, NATO, and what was the other one? That was at the United Nations. And they can only bring these three pieces together, back basically starting in 2017 to actually have it be accurate and working. So Project Looking Glass was kind of decommissioned for a while until it could be brought back together. So if they brought it back together at that time, what did they see? They only see Trump's future and what Trump did, and they kind of blinked and they're out of power.
And I mean, predicting the future it's relative. I mean, there's an infinite number of timelines that are coexisting at all times, right?
Yeah.
You have a quantum reality where everything is connected, and what happens in the quantum reality that we exist in affects both the past and the future, right? So it's like, how can you ever? You can't predict the future because you can't factor in free will. Now you could predict it if you do this, and I'll probably do this, and you could predict probabilities,
right?
In a timeline, but they don't know.
Yeah, it was.
That's why you have all these ascended
just,
masters who were, they only saw a negative timeline.
No, they only. This was just probabilities. That's all that it saw was probabilities, and it actually. Right. The probabilities were affected by the individual that was doing the looking.
Right. Sure.
Right. So it was, based upon the, again, their relative perspective, and
right.
it was just probability. So let's just say that if Tesla was in the room and he was figuring out, it was based upon his perspective of things. That's that's why I think that this plan that I say trust the plan is Tesla's plan, and not really about the white hats per se or the black hats per se, even though they have their plans and they were executing them, and they probably even played off of one another's plans. But I think that's what we're seeing now, is this unfolding. It's why it seemed so much like a trap to me, looking at what the impeachment thing. I said they want him to impeach. They want, Trump wants to bring this and doesn't react. Lets him just roll it all out, right? And then people get to react against how bad they really are. Right? And so, what kind of tweaking of the timeline? Because that's what he said that they were using Project Looking Glass for, was kind of tweaking to kind of nudge the future in a direction or another.
Right.
Okay. And I kind of, in my without a Project Looking Glass, and when I've had some very vivid visions of like a future that unrolls, it always seemed to me as though seeing how things are going to unfold is everyone's ability, right? And it's all about what other optional things that may happen along the way to interject and push things along. Even the project that I'm working on right now is the same project I was working on, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's just been nudged. It's taken this direction and this direction and this direction, and it has a timing of its own, but the manifestation of creating a new world, that has, that moved past this debt-based, insanity, and into abundance, abundance mindset. That means politically.
Yeah.
It means how we react with one another. Personally. To be. I was also thinking. I want to be involved in the politics, and say, should I go back? And then run for senator. Right. I figure, what state should I go to? California, Pennsylvania, Utah.
Well, the Republic group, right? Another common law, or constitutional law group. Mm-hmm. They just voted Paul Yokoyama, the senator here in New York, and they officially made me, the sheriff. But so Paul's going to their meeting on Sunday to find out, see if they're legit, if they have any kind of backbone in what they're doing. Because that's the thing with all these different groups, But my thought is to be connected to all of them, somewhat, because there are right. People trying to do something.
Yeah, they all have pieces of the puzzle trying to bring it in. Everyone's trying to do the right thing. We all know it's a problem. We just still, they've just, obscured the road, right? There's all this overbrush and overhang. You gotta get out the machete and start clearing the path, because you have no idea where it's at. And then you meet these other people that also have machetes and they're clearing their path. You just gotta all go together down the road.
Right.
Anyway, I was thinking what party would I run for? I mean, when I was young, I was a Republican. Then I left and became part of Ross Perot's Reform Party, and then since then I haven't had one. I tended to vote Republican, right? But it was really more about issues. I didn't want a small government. I didn't want overbearing government. I didn't want the government to be taking everything from me and redistributing it. It's because I know they don't do a good job at it.
Right.
They're just thieves, and they're doing it for themselves. And now we can really see how much of a thieves they really are. right? And how they've created this backdoor system to put foreign funding up to go, push billions somewhere. Still want to know where that 7.2 billion went to the Ukraine. Where did it end up? It's missing. Somebody has it, and I bet it all goes into politicians' hands, Republican and Democrat. But anyway, what party would I run for? I said maybe I run for a Democrat. The Democrat Party.
Does it really matter? I mean, what party you run for? I mean, like I said, I'm gonna run to be for the Democratic presidential candidacy, and my platform is going to be vote for Trump.
Yeah, and they'll say, "Well, weren't you a Republican before?" I said, "Yeah, when I was young, I had a brain, but now I'm older and I have a heart." And it's kind of like a twist on that Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
He had that saying. If you're not a liberal when you're young, you don't have a heart, and if you're not a conservative when you're an adult, you have no brain.
Yep, I believe that. Yeah. Well, Dan, I have
all right,
some people waiting on me right now. I got to get this site up and rocking so we can start, voting, which started 2 days ago. So my apologies to anyone who went in to vote. I know there's people have been hitting me up like, "There's no vote." Okay, I'm sorry. We were getting hacked, and it took me longer to figure out, or longer to launch than we expected. So, but everything's still on track. Well, not perfectly on track, but only a couple days behind. And so stay tuned. I'll send out a notice to everybody real soon.
Right. And set up some meetings for us with Paul and the other people that need to be on the call.
I definitely will.
All right.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
I received an email from a man who actually showed me with attachments that he had grown